Welcome back. So we're going to try something a little different today. I got a new action camera. I wanted to try it out. So obviously putting it on the head is a little too far away. I didn't realize that. So next time I'll use the chest strap. So I'm going to show you how to cook a pork tenderloin. So I said I already started before I decided to start recording it and trying out my new camera. But see, going through here, I take a tenderloin, cut it in half. Put a little garlic salt on it, put a little black pepper, and I've already injected it with some Tony Chachere's roasted garlic injection. So I'm kind of going back to the steps since I decided to film it and try my new camera. So showing you how I did it. I did it obviously before I cut it. Put it as much as you can. Get it in there, and go slow because it will squirt back out on you if you push too hard. So do the inside, do the top side, same thing. Garlic, salt, and black pepper. Pat it in, try to get it to stick. Flip it over and do the bottom side. Not a big fan of having all that all over my hands, so constantly washing it off. Put a little garlic salt on it again, pretty liberal. And you want to cover the whole thing and get some of that black pepper on there. And then pat it down and get it to stick on both sides. I think this was an 8-pound pork loin. And we cut it in half because it won't fit on the grill as one long strip. Also because I wanted to try some liquid smoke. So we usually use the Tony Chachere's roasted garlic injection, but this time I wanted to try something different. Garlic salt on garlic injection was a little strong. I wanted to try something different, a little more barbecue flavor rather than just cooking it. So this half, we just use the garlic. On the other half, I'll show you in a minute, we'll use that liquid smoke. So I like to put a little cheese in the middle, keep it from drying out, plus give it a little flavor, and you can never have too much cheese. Normally use mozzarella as a lot more moisture. Apparently we were out, didn't know it, so I'm using a mixed blend, cheddar, mozzarella, Colby Jack cheese or something. Does the job, but it's not what I normally use. I'm going to take a little tin foil and wrap up pork loin, let it marinate for a few minutes. Probably shouldn't have done what's coming up here. Use my knife to open the box, but I wasn't trying to cut it. I was just trying to get a little finger hold. So we'll wrap it up, cover it up in tin foil, put it back in the refrigerator. I like to let it sit at least 30 minutes. You don't want to get it cold. You just want to give it time for that salt and pepper and garlic to start making its way through the whole thing. Otherwise, it'll be very strong in certain spots. So I'm not real smooth that way either. So just make it happen. Wrap it up. That was a pretty big tenderloin, so I like to not cover it up. I like to use 2 pieces. You don't want any air getting to it. But like I said, you don't want it to get cold. You just don't want it to get. You just want to give it time for it to set up. If you want to marinate it overnight, you might want to add a little water or something like that, and put it in some sort of freezer bag, put it in the refrigerator. I'm not letting it sit that long, so we just do it this way. Put it in the refrigerator while I work on the other one. Put it up there out of the way and get to work on the second piece. So buy these at Sam's. They come in a little plastic plastic wrap. Just get rid of it. Second piece was a little thicker, so I got rid of what was left of the garlic sauce or the garlic injection into the meat. So I'm just kind of shoving it in there. I don't like to put it back in the container after it's touched the meat, so I just like to use it. I don't want to waste it. So here I'm going to try for liquid smoke. First time I ever used this. I've seen it on other channels, other users. They all seem to speak highly of it, but I just wanted to try it out. It's hard to find something that isn't really spicy, or really salty, which liquid smoke actually turned out to be pretty salty until we got done with it. But I'll probably go back to just the garlic salt. It was definitely easier to put in, and actually the flavor did better. So I'll show you that at the end. I had to put a few more injection sites than I do with the roasted garlic, Tony Satchery's, because the liquid smoke just wouldn't go into the meat. It just wanted to come back out. So put quite a few. You see it puddling up on the top. It will squirt out on you. I don't think you can see it, but it have squirted back out the top quite a bit, which the pork loin is a lot denser than like a Boston butt or some of the other meats that we inject, so it doesn't puff up like Boston butt does. It just flavors it. We've tried it without putting the injection in there, and the flavor's all on the outside, nothing on the inside. It doesn't really have any taste at all. So try to do something different. So you see, I injected it, and I'm going to cut it in half, or open it up at least, and then do the same thing. Put some salt and some pepper in there, and some cheese, and wrap it up. Let it sit for 30 minutes. So we'll try to cut it all the way up, so that it doesn't just start cooking separately. If you keep a little edge on it, they stay together really well. You can see the dots where I injected it through the skin, or through the outside, and it doesn't make its way all the way around. It just sort of stays. It did add some flavor, but not enough. It didn't really make its way through the meat like I wanted. So coat it in garlic salt, just like we did the other side, the other piece. And we'll do the black pepper. It's pretty chunky. Black pepper is not really very fine. Normally use a different brand, but we were at Sam's and I just wanted to get what they had. So use what you got. Try something different every once in a while, and I'll be surprised what you find. Use the same cheese I had on the other one, so it was a mixed blend of cheddar and mozzarella and something else. They call it Fiesta cheese or something. But really, all we had. I was really going for the mozzarella, but I guess I forgot to pick it up. Didn't know we were out really. So you can see the liquid smoke. It's all over the cutting board. It poured out the bottom, poured out the top, and sides. The roasted garlic injection, it doesn't seem to do that. I don't know if it's just thinner or if it's just I don't know why it does that. So coat the top just like we did the other one. Pat it in, get it to stick, and we'll flip it over and do the bottom side. Keep it together. You want it to cook as one whole piece, not two separate slabs. So we'll coat the bottom side just like we did the top. Get it pretty liberal. You want to cover every bit of it. Definitely with garlic salt, it's not quite as bad as regular salt. It doesn't get as doesn't ruin the meat, but you can put as much as you want. So we've got it coated, got it patted down. Now we'll wrap it up just like we did the other one, and put it in the refrigerator to marinate and let it sit for about 30 minutes. Usually what I do is, forgot, I like to add a little ground cinnamon to the top. I like the smell. So it doesn't really add a lot of flavor, but it adds a really sweet smell to it. After it gets done cooking, everybody seems to like the smell of it. So, and I just like cinnamon. So we put that on there. Try to do something different. Now I'm gonna wrap it up. Let it marinate for at least 30 minutes. Usually what I do is I put it in the refrigerator. Go outside, start the fire, get the grill up to temp, and once I'm done getting ready, should be plenty of time. Usually takes about 30 minutes to do all that, so works out just right. Like I said, you don't want it to get cold, but you want to give it time to soak up the salt and the pepper and all that, get saturated. So that was a pretty big piece of meat. Just didn't even, aluminum foil won't even wrap around and touch itself. So put 2 pieces on, wrap it up, stick it in there, and go out working on the fire. So we'll skip to that. Cut out a lot of walking around, which will cook outside. I got my little chimney starter. Put the coals in it. Now I've tried many different coals. We like to use Kingsford. They light really easily and they burn really hot. Now I'll mix it in with some cheaper, I think that's like a Walmart brand charcoal. I'll put it down at the bottom. Give it something to burn. They burn well, but they won't. They don't light very good. So very hard to get them started. So like I use the Kingsford to get started in my little chimney, and then I'll dump them on top of the cheaper brand so that get a little mix. And I like to forget that fire will come out of the bottom once you turn it upside down. See it pop out of there. So that takes about, I don't know, 5-6 minutes. Once you stick something underneath the chimney, put the coals inside of it, light the paper underneath it, and in 5 to 7 minutes, usually you got a pretty good fire going. You see they're already good and white. Burn all the smoke out, and you just light a handful, and then mix them with the rest. And as it cooks, they'll all catch on fire, and the flame lasts a good long time. I like to put them all on one side. So that I don't directly heat the meat. I put the meat on the other side. So close off all the vents I want. Open the other one so that it smokes through. Let it burn until it stops smoking. Get that nasty smoke out of there, and then once it just starts heating it up, you're good to go. So I think that was about 30 minutes. I don't know if you noticed the camera switch, but about 30 minutes from the time I put them in the refrigerator to pull them out. So there's a thermometer on the grill. It's not really accurate. I like to check the temp at the grill plate. You see it does produce a lot of smoke sometimes. So I check it just to confirm. I've seen it be off by 50 degrees sometimes, and I like to make sure before I stick it on there, because once you stick it on there, it's kind of hard to stop it. Takes the thermometer on top a long time to get to where it needs to be. It's very slow. I got instant read thermometer down there, little pocket thermometer. So just to double check. So I thought you would be able to read the temperature on the thermometers, but it doesn't look like you can see them. So I'm looking for about 250 to 300 degrees with nothing in it. So apparently the thermometer on the barbecue grill was not accurate. I think it wasn't even showing 200 degrees. So I'm checking it. It's seeing, I think it gets to 275, and I pull it out. We'll go ahead and put the meat on there. See, it's good and hot now. All the coals are good and white. Stick them over on the left side where there's no coals underneath it, so it's a little indirect heat. The flame will be on the right side. It'll pull up and vent out to the left. Smoke it. So we'll see the time here is 4:21. So that was the end of the prep time. 1 hour later, we'll come back and start checking on the meat and the progress. So we'll see it's about 5:15. So not quite an hour, but pretty close. Make our way out with our thermometer, check the meat. So we had it wrapped up in tin foil to cook the first part. Keep the juices in it, get it cooked. I like to make sure it's cooked before I start trying to worry about flavor. So we'll check it, check and see where it's at. I'm looking for at least 130, 135. Make sure it's cooked, and then we'll start worrying about making it tender. So open it up and see how it's doing. Man, look how good that looks. I think I must have already checked the temperature before I went back in. I know it was at 135 at the hour mark. So we'll put a little barbecue sauce on it, get it good and coated. You cannot put enough while it's still cooking. It will cook down and leave that really sweet flavor that it'll get sucked into the meat too. So you like to keep it on there really thick. So continually coming out and reglazing it. Put it all on the sides, on the ends. Get it in there really good. Get it good and coated. So we'll take care of that, and then we'll pull it out of the tin foil. You're gonna see how juicy it is right now whenever I pull it up. Oh, getting hot. Should have been doing it with my hand. I'll get the spatula there and we'll move it off of that. It's a little ash on it. So we'll move it off the tin foil. You see how good and juicy it is. So it's been out here an hour. We're definitely at 135, I believe. I remember. I'm going to try the other one out. Open it up, see how good it looks. So all that pepper and garlic starting to really stick to it. This one had a little more cheese, so it's got a lot more juice than the other one had even. So I think we're going to swap them. I think one was at 130 and one was at 140. So the one on the outside was a little cooler. We'll swap them up, keep them cooking about the same temperature. Put it in there out of the way for now, and we'll coat this one with barbecue sauce and repeat the same process. Get it all good on the sides, and then I like to use Sweet Baby Ray's, just original barbecue sauce. I think we've already pulled it out, added a little butter, and put it back in the container. I buy a larger container from Sam's, and we used it in the little squirt bottle there. So we take it out, melt a couple of cups of butter into it, and put it back. So we coated it. I'm gonna put it back on. I think somewhere when I realized that I didn't switch them yet. So I'm gonna check the temperature one more time, double check. Some people say don't poke it too many times, but I like to be sure. Grills have a habit of not cooking evenly. One end might be cooked and the other end might not. I don't want to risk it, so looking for at least 135 to be sure I'm cooked, and then we'll start worrying about getting it tender. So we'll smoke it down then. So here I'm checking it. I must remember now that it wasn't quite 135. So I'm going to swap them. Definitely the temperature was different. So you see they stay together pretty well. You leave a little piece on there, so I'm going to just switch one to the left, one to the right. If I cook them lengthways, then one end will get tougher than the other, so you want them kind of even. So we'll close it up, and we'll come back out and check on it probably about 30 minutes, add some more barbecue sauce. And so here we are about 30 minutes later, and we'll check on it. Oop, man, got a little humidity got up on the camera lens there. So we're going to check it one more time. We're definitely over. I think we're at 145, 150. You can take it all the way up to 165. It doesn't dry it out. I've heard people talk about taking it up to 200, but I think it's all a matter of what you want the texture to be like. I like it a little bit steakish. I want to be able to cut it with a fork, but I want it to chew it. I don't want it just to fall all apart. So it might be a matter of preference. I don't like it so tough that I can't cut through it with a butter knife or something, but I like to be able to cut it with my fork. So it looks like we were doing good on temperature. I'm going to add a little more barbecue sauce. You see it does thicken up, and you want that. You want to keep slathering it on there, get it all on the edges. I don't do the bottom part, just straight to the coals anyway. By now most of the cheese is kind of boiled out, so I'm not worried about losing it anymore. Now I'm trying to put some color on it and put a little of that barbecue flavor into it now that I've got it good and cooked. You can cook it without the tinfoil, but I think it cooks a little faster. So we look at about 2 hours total cook time. I've heard people say 4 and 5 hours, so never look at the clock again. It's now 6 o'clock, so it's been 2 hours. And we're going to go check it one more time. I'm pretty sure it's going to be done since we were already at 150 on the last check. Doesn't take much for it to get to 165. 165 is a good indicator, but you do need to check it to see what it looks like, how it feels, to be sure it's good and tender. Like I said, I don't like it too tender where it's more like a roast. I want it more like a little bit of a steak feel to it, a little steak texture. It's got a little chew to it. A little bit of leftover cheese stuck to the grate, so you know you're still good and moist when you've still got cheese hanging around. So you see it was still good and hot. We had plenty of coals in there, so usually about an hour and a half you got to come out and check the coals, make sure it's still good and hot in there. This time I'd added plenty, so gotta keep it good and warm. So we're gonna cut it open and see how it did. Never like to judge it by the end piece. The end piece is always more dried out than the middle. So we're going to take that second piece there and kind of look at it. You can see that line where I had the garlic, salt, and the pepper and the cheese. You see it's still got some cheese just running out there. So it's good and tender. See the steam coming out of the inside. Still a good bit of moisture in it. So I'm going to cut it up, put it in a little baker's pan so we can store it for later. So we were a little time crunched. I cooked it pretty hot, and I was just going for getting it good and cooked because we were trying to eat supper on it, not making it for the next day or something. So you just see earlier that I had a Boston butt that I was preparing. I'm going to cook it the next day, and we're going to do a slow cook on it. So this was just get it cooked and get it to eat. So they had a big sale, so we decided that's what we were going to eat for supper. So when I get hungry, I get more willing to take it a little more chewy. So, but I like it a little like steak, like I said, like a good steak. So we get it cut up. This is the one that had the garlic seasoning in it. It definitely had the better flavor. We've tried it before many times, so we knew what we were getting with it. We'll take a look at the liquid smoke here in a minute. It cooked well. Definitely had a smoky flavor to it. Had a barbecue flavor, but it just didn't taste as good, or wasn't what we were expecting. So you can see all the juice left over on the cutting board there. It's definitely 2 hours. Definitely plenty of time, and not too early. It's definitely well done, and it's definitely pretty tender. Now I've got a dull spot on my knife where I dropped it one time, so it leaves the spot. So, but it's pretty much going through it pretty easy, except the little spot where I chipped a knife. Doesn't cut too good there. She'll see me at the same spot having to kind of dig. So the liquid smoke, it left little marks where I injected it, little black lines. I thought it kind of took away from the appearance. See it there? Kind of gave it a weird appearance. I don't know. That's what I'm looking for. It definitely was edible, and we didn't have any problem getting through it. But presentation-wise, it didn't do as good. The roasted garlic, looks really good. Tastes really good. It has a good smell. Whereas the liquid smoke, much a little bit behind. I was surprised we still had some cheese left on the inside. I guess the cheddar is not quite as moist, so it doesn't overdo. I may actually start using cheddar more often than the mozzarella. Mozzarella makes a mess, but it does leave a lot of flavor behind. So the mix was a good trial and error. So it doesn't hurt to try something different every once in a while. Sometimes you may have a preference, but you actually find something you like. You may find something you like more. So especially when you're feeding 4 or 5 people, try something. You never know who's gonna prefer it over the other. So got it all cut up, and all what's left over behind. So you see a little bit of cheese goo, a little bit of roasted garlic, a little bit of liquid smoke, a little bit of fat renderings. So I'll pour it back in there. So now I'm gonna get me a piece of each, go for the taste test. I'm really curious to see how it did. I'm getting good and tender, so I'm gonna use my fork. If I can cut that with my fork, that's where I want it to be. Gotta cover up the meat before I do anything else. Just cover it up, and then when everybody's ready for supper, they'll come and get them some. So which usually doesn't take very long. So with the 8 pounds, it's 5 of us eating on it. Usually makes about 3 meals. Usually we eat a good bit the first time and a little bit less the second, third time. But that does smell pretty good. What smells up the refrigerator, so every time you open it up after that, it's all you smell. So putting the tinfoil on top of the baker's pan seems to keeps it for 4 or 5 days before we start nourishing. So you see here, I thought you could see it in the camera, but cut really easily with just a fork. Tasted it, really good taste. So thumbs up. Let me know if you try this, and let me know if how it comes out for you. 2 hours is plenty. Very tender, good flavor. And I really enjoyed it. So we'll do more of these. Comment in the bottom if you got anything you want to see different. If you want to see me try something else, and give me a like and subscribe to my channel. I do lots of different things here. Thanks.